Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching VidJ from the European server playing in their Type 59. This is an infamous vehicle inside the game that used to be such a hard thing to be able to get a hold of after it was removed from general sale. This was actually the first ever Tier 8 premium tank I ever got my hands on that was purchased. And my brother bought me one, I think it was like 7,500 gold back in the day, because I put together a computer for him. So yeah, thanks for that one, big bro. I really appreciate it, and still like having the Type 59 to this day. Little did I know, or we know at the time, that the Type 59 would become one of the most sought after tanks in World of Tanks history when Wargaming removed it, as it was just too popular, and lots of people were getting it, and with its preferential matchmaking, so it never has to meet tier 10s, combined with just pretty much being as good, if not better than most of the tier 8 tech tree tanks in the game, made it a tank that just people wanted to play. And when they removed it from sale, people wanted to get their hands on. Wargaming staff at events were constantly pestered for, hey, have you got any Type 59 codes? And I'm not sure I can or cannot confirm that they did have access to Type 59 codes. I'm not sure if they still do, but let's be honest, the Type 59 isn't really deemed to be that special anymore, as Wargaming bring it back to sale quite often, especially since they buffed this vehicle significantly a few years ago now, and it's still an absolute performer inside World of Tanks. I wouldn't say that it's game breaking, but it does get favored matchmaking for itself, which means that it's very strong for a tank that doesn't have to meet any tier 10 tanks. So you can just blow off some steam, enjoy some preferential matchmaking, and not feel that you're useless against tier 9 vehicles that you're going to meet like you would be in some of the other vehicles that get preferential matchmaking in World of Tanks. So VidJ has taken their Type 59 into a very forward, very aggressive position when they're defending on this Corellia map. I do like this forward play, especially if you're in a nice matchup like VidJ is, to get forwards, to use that armor, to extend the vision for your team. I do feel that the team that most likely wins Corellia Assault is going to be the team that extends vision either to the D4 area. If you're the attacking team, I absolutely always, if I'm in a tank that can go 50 kilometers an hour and has reasonable good camo, cross and take the risk at the start of the battle when I'm attacking, because if you can get to that D4 area, you are most likely going to be having big spotting games. Now, it's a little bit more risky, but nonetheless still worth the payoff if you're on the defending team and you do cross. I do feel like you're a little bit more vulnerable, as you do have the luxury of just waiting for when you're on the defending team. You don't have to take that kind of forced risk to get a foothold into the offense like the attacking team will. But VidJ, it seems to have really paid off for them here. So they fire at the Nashorn. They're going to elect to not ram the Nashorn here, but I like that play to be able to get the side of the vehicle, and knowing that they forced the Nashorn to fire their repair kit off, now the second tracking shot spells their demise, and now they're using the wreck of their opponents to hide from the self-propelled gun. We can see that the wreck of the Nashorn absorbs the shell from the American self-propelled gun, and VidJ looks like they're in the enemy base, and they're going to be entering the fight of their life right now. They got a Jagdpanzer IV to deal with, the artillery coming at them as well. They're bouncing the Jagdpanzer IV, and more tanks are just going to come out of the woodwork. I like what VidJ is doing here with all of these tracking shots at their opponents. There's a Porlak coming on the left. The Porlak manages to slam one of the 90mm shells through the side, and VidJ is seemingly pushing back the Jagdpanzer while trying to avoid the Porlak from being able to get a shell through their front. Or their side, I should say, as they're getting their front armor towards the tier 6 American heavy tank. And now, having managed to, they are going to be grinding down that Porlak post haste. But tanks, just full health tanks, just seem to be coming out of nowhere. And this is one of the strengths of Type 59, is it doesn't have bad damage per minute for tier 8. It's not great, but it's not bad. But with great marksmanship like VidJ is showing here, he's managing to pick apart his opponents quick enough to stop it from ever turning into a 2 versus 1. And that's what you've got to do. If you have the confidence to put yourself into an aggressive scenario, you also have to have the confidence to shoot your way out of it, like VidJ is doing. Now up to 4,000 damage, 5 frags to their name, the LTT, or the LGT, sorry, man, or the LTG even, the tier 7 Soviet light tank, trying to get rounds into VidJ from above, but Vijay is having none of it. And now, again, Vijay in another sandwich. They just don't stop coming right now. This is outrageous stuff. Vijay, no, God, the Juno turns into a Juno and a VK3002M with the LTG still behind Vijay. Vijay has just not stopped firing for the last 3 or 4 minutes. This is outrageous stuff. Having fired all of their regular rounds, Vijay is now down to their gold rounds on this tank. And unfortunately, the low roll there could cost them dearly against the VK. But luckily, the great hull armor of the Type 59 with 100mm at the front and a wonderful 80mm at the side means that you can kind of over-angle this tank is still ricocheting the gold rounds from the VK3002M. Now Vijay's team is still down by 3,000 hit points, even though they're up to 5,000 damage, and the LTG is trying to run away, but with the excellent choice of gun rammer, vents, and vert stabs, giving Vijay just the ultimate firepower here with bond equipment invested. Looks like they really like their Type 59, and with good reason with games like this. Vijay has already picked up the Radley Walters medal for 8 frags, but there are still 5 vehicles left on the enemy team that Vijay is going to have to deal with. So Vijay turning their attention towards the Renegade. Now with a Nashorn and a CC-56 and artillery on their team, are they going to be able to keep the Renegade lit up? Are they going to be able to apply some pressure to this Renegade? Or is Vijay just going to have to do everything? So it looks like Vijay probably just managed to track the Renegade there. I don't think they actually most likely damaged it. Vijay is quite rightly asking for help here. Please spot the Renegade. As you would expect, hopefully the CC-56 will poke their turret round the corner to be able to spot the Tier 8 American heavy tank, and that will allow Vijay to be able to get back to defending the cap circle. Vijay on 367 hit points means that they're a one-shot for the Renegade 50% of the time. They're a one-shot for the TS5 pretty much all the time. And the KV-2, well, the KV-2 is the KV-2. Sometimes it's going to be your best friend, and sometimes it's going to be your worst enemy with regards to that 152mm. So Vijay pings out the IS where they were last spotted. However, I don't think they have time to faff around now. Remember, even though they've got 50 seconds to be able to get back to base, all it takes is one tank to be able to also get into the cap circle, and then suddenly Vijay's going to be in trouble. Talk about it being in trouble. Vijay now finds themselves in a 1 versus 5 situation. Standing alone against the enemy team here. They finish off the Renegade to change their 1 versus 5 into a 1 versus 4, but unfortunately taking an average roll from the Renegade now means they're on 9 hit points to try and take down this 1 versus 5, which is quickly turned into a 1 versus 3. 9 hit points still against 3 opponents, of which it looks like the KV-2 was still on full hit points when they were last spotted. And a TS5 who's also gunning for a Top Gun with 5 frags to their name, but 5 isn't 10. Vijay has pretty much put their team on the back here, and they're going to have to keep alive for the next 2 minutes if they want to win this round. With the Pools medal already secured, but the one that everybody wants, the Kolobanovs medal, on the line, Vijay still has their work cut out for them. So right now it's about working corners, trying to figure out where your opponents are going to come from. They still have more than enough time to just get 2 vehicles into the cap circle and be able to win the battle without having to destroy Vijay. But remember, if Vijay can just run the timer down a little bit longer, all they have to do is just be able to avoid the fights here, but they're not going to avoid any fights. Oh my word, the FV201 was firing high explosive rounds, quite rightly against a very low health tank, but 9 hit points now becomes 2 hit points, and we can see the enemies actually had 2 tanks inside the cap circle, but now that one of them is deciding not to cap, both of them are going to have to leave. All right. They have gone all in. The enemies have decided they're not capping. They're going to have to destroy Vijay now if they want to win this. So remember, as Vijay is defending against an assault, all he has to do is survive for 60 seconds to be able to win this game. He doesn't actually have to destroy the enemy vehicles. But Vijay is still looking like he wants to get a shot into the TS5 there, wanting to destroy that tank instead of just trying to hide and avoid the confrontation in the first place, as the KV-2 could be anywhere. So with 1 shot into the TS5, Vijay's waiting for the camo to reset. They need to get 2 more shots into the TS5. And remember, the KV-2 was last spotted on full hit points, and with 30 seconds left on the game, it remains to be seen whether Vijay is even going to be able to get through the KV-2's 1,000 hit points here. 24 seconds. The TS5 behind Vijay. He puts 1 in through the side, decides he has to drive in front of the KV-2, and the KV-2 only tracks Vijay. Oh no, Vijay, don't get rammed here. Don't get rammed here. Don't get rammed here. Oh, Only 2 hit points to VidJ's name. I was worried that the KV2 was going to win that game with their backside, but VidJ now with 5 seconds left. Do they have time to be able to get 2 more shots in? No, they won't, as the timer goes off, and even with adrenaline rush, procced both probably in real life and also on the Type 59 here to improve their rate of fire by at least 10%. VidJ just didn't quite have enough to be able to deal with the remaining KV2, and with only 7 rounds left in their tank and 2 hit points to their name, VidJ survives, winning the battle through the time expiring, picking up 12 kills. That's 10 more than the rest of their team combined. This was the mother of all carries. It really got my heart going. And from pretty much the very start until the very end, VidJ was in the fight of their life. Unfortunately, this well-rounded Chinese beast had more than enough in the tank to keep VidJ going. So this was the one that everybody wants, the Conor Banos medal for surviving against at least 5 opponents, a Pools medal for those 12 kills, a Steel Wall medal for blocking 2,385, showing you just how resilient this tank is, albeit in a nice matchup, a tank sniper for dealing the most damage at a decent distance, and a high caliber for a casual 8,000 damage in a tier 8 medium. Pretty much as much damage as the whole of the rest of VidJ's team combined. And as this is a premium tank where it looks like VidJ was also running a credit booster, they make 163,000 credits profit even after firing 102,000 credits worth of ammunition, giving VidJ a whopping 2,383 base experience, which will be an account record for the vast majority of players. So VidJ, congratulations to you on getting yourself into the fight of your life and also managing to get through it. This was a 10 out of 10 heart-pumping round, and VidJ's description is amazing game with intense moments, with much RNG involved and some skill. Hope you enjoy. Well, VidJ, I think you're being a little bit too humble with the amount of skill that there was in this game. You kept calm and cool under pressure and showed everyone why the Type 59 is such a sought-after, infamous beast, even pretty much 12 years after it was first released. And VidJ, I definitely enjoyed your epic game. Thank you so much for uploading it onto the What Replays website for the community to enjoy, and I hope all of you out there enjoyed my commentary on this epic round. If you did, give the video a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it's released on Friday, I'm going to be going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with brand new drop tokens, so you can get yourself some fat loot as well as coming along and checking out a few good games. So really looking forward to seeing you all live right now, and as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.